So let's take a look at some linear equation and system of linear equation problems. Systems of linear equations are basically sets of two or more linear equations in the same problem. Whenever you come across such problems on the SAT, you might want to strategize on how to solve or how to approach these questions. My suggestion is, if a question looks simple, if there is nothing to rearrange, or if it's just straightforward coefficients like 1 or 2, then try to solve it by hand or plug values from the answers. On the other hand, if the question looks a bit more complicated, or if it's just something that you really need to rearrange for a long time and the values are going to be very confusing, then you can use the Desmos calculator. That's why today I'll also show you how to use the Desmos calculator to solve your systems of linear equations. So let's take a look at problem number 1. According to the system of equations above, what is the value of x? Basically, they want us to solve this system. And how do we do that? Well, we take one equation, we solve it for x, or solve it for y, and then we plug it to the other equation and find one of the unknowns. Later, we can use one of the unknowns to find the other unknown. Okay, so what's the best way to approach this problem? We need to solve for x. We need to find x. In that case, I'm going to replace the y in this equation by the y here. I'm going to just rearrange this equation so that I can write y in terms of x. Y is equal to 21 minus x. And now that I have done that, I can plug it quickly into the bottom equation here. Let's plug it. X minus 2y is equal to negative 3. Let's plug, instead of y, 21 minus x, because it is equal to y. X minus 2 times 21 minus x is equal to negative 3. And when you spread everything, you're going to get x minus 42 plus 2x, because minus times minus is going to give you plus 2x is going to give you negative 3. And then you can rearrange and simplify this. 3x is equal to negative 3 plus 42, which is going to give you 39. Therefore, x is equal to 39 divided by 3, which is 13. So the longer way of solving this problem would be to write this equation differently, rewrite it to leave x alone on one side, and then you would get something like x is equal to 21 minus y. Then you would plug it instead of x here, you would find y, and then you would plug y into either of the equations, preferably this one, and then you would solve for x. That's not preferable here in this situation because we don't need y, right? So we got rid of y by expressing it in terms of x. And this is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to find a shortcut or get used to let's say the shortest way of solving a question and use it on the exam. Here's a similar question. The solution to the given system of equations is the ordered pair x comma y. What is the value of y? Well, let's take a look at how we can solve this on the Desmos calculator. I suggest using your keyboard on your computer while using Desmos calculator. I do not suggest taking the SAT with an iPad or a tablet because this is not convenient. Since when you're typing the equations in a Desmos calculator, you can quickly use the keys on your computer or the keyboard. It is way, way more convenient. So I am just using my keyboard right now to type everything. And what I get is two lines, and they cross each other at a point which Desmos calculator is willing to show us the moment we bring our mouse close to it and just press on it. Yeah, here it is. So the coordinates of the solution are 2, 2.5. All right. So I'm going to take a screenshot. This is going to be our solution to the question. Again, you can also solve this by hand, but we don't need to do that, right? Because sometimes using the calculator is faster. So the y coordinate then is 2.5. The correct answer here would be 2.5. Great. Another point that I want to mention is that in the America, you might use comma instead of a point, but elsewhere in the world, you would use a point, and maybe that's why Desmos is also showing us a point. Be careful about that. Yeah. So when you're typing point on the SAT, type point to separate your decimal from your whole number. This was the solution to only 2 questions out of the total 10 questions in this topic. In order to find the other solutions, please navigate to my full Udemy SAT course, link in description.